Well, it's 40 against 1 in the United States Senate. All 40 Republican senators just fired off a letter to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid pressing him to put health care negotiations on C-SPAN. Meanwhile, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi got a letter of her own. The Republican members of the House Rules Committee signed a letter to the Speaker pressing her to put negotiations on C-SPAN. Some Republicans in the House have been fighting for months for more transparency. One of them is Congressman Greg Walden. He is a leader in the House GOP Congressional Transparency Initiative. Nice to see you, Congressman.
Greta, good to be with you.
All right, how are we doing on this effort to get transparency in the House?
Well, we've got the people with us. We don't have the Speaker with us, and that's the problem. She controls the cameras, in effect. And, you know, the sad thing is you have the President of the United States, when he was campaigning, time and time again in town hall meetings in Indiana and in Ohio, the debate that went on with Google, all across the country saying, this health care negotiation will be different if I'm president. We're going to put it all on C-SPAN. It'll be out there for the public to see. And then they'll see who's making the deals, where the trade-offs are. The tragedy is none of that's happening. They've been meeting behind closed doors at the White House. They met behind closed doors in the Congress. They're going to cut their deals once again in private. These are the bills, the Senate bill.
This is Senate bill and this is the House bill, and they've got to now sort of be merged or reconciled.
They're going to merge these two bills. These are not decks of cards, by the way. You don't just take them and fan them together. These are 2,000-page bills, 1/6 of the nation's economy, 1/5 of the nation's economy. Your health care, my health care, everybody's health care is affected. And they're doing all this behind closed doors.
Do you have any opportunity to talk to Speaker Pelosi or any of the Democratic colleagues, or even anyone else, I guess Democratic colleagues, to say, you know, what's up with, you know, don't you understand how this is sort of, besides the fact that it's important to the American people, it's also embarrassing. You look bad because you promised transparency.
And you know what's interesting? My colleague, who's now announced his retirement, Brian Baird from Washington State, has been a big advocate for putting these bills online 72 hours in advance. We teamed up. There were only 6 Democrats that signed the discharge petition to change the House rules to require that these bills be made available to the press and to the public and to the politicians. One of the others that signed that was Parker Griffith, who just left the Democrat Party and joined the Republican Party out of frustration. They don't want him to sign that discharge petition. They want to continue the old ways of Washington.
But even the transparency you're talking about, putting this on the Internet, is that by the time, I mean, for instance, the deal that Senator Ben Nelson got in the Senate for Nebraska, that's already ended up in the Senate bill before it even goes. I mean, when there's no opportunity, if there aren't cameras to watch the negotiations at this point, we don't even know how, you know, what it was. Maybe it's a good reason, maybe it's not. I suspect it's not particularly attractive one to most people, but we don't even know how it ends up here and how it's going to be implemented, and whether he, you know, sold the state or didn't sell the state or did something fair or not. Even that's too late in this chain, in this timeline.
That's why all of this should be televised. Committee votes should be put up online for everybody to see, either live as we're voting or at least within 48 hours. The bills, as they come out of committee, often get changed somewhere between the committee and when they come to the floor. That's outrageous. I had 2 amendments in the House health care bill adopted unanimously to provide for rural proportional representation on the committees that are going to decide what health care looks like in America. Somewhere between the committee where they were adopted unanimously and when that bill right there came to the floor of the House, it got stripped out. Both amendments.
Who took it out?
You tell me. Who knows? And we tried to go to the Rules Committee, which should be televised, by the way. That's one of our reform efforts, is every action in the Rules Committee. They decide what comes to the floor, what the final bill looks like. That's not televised. It should be.
Well, the negotiations now that are going on in an attempt to merge these 2 bills, I mean, it's impractical for perhaps every single negotiation ever to be on camera for every single bill. But this bill is so different because it does change so much, whether it's for the good or the bad. And that's why, you know, I can't understand why they're resisting this.
Well, and I thought Pat Goodell made a good comment before this show about what the damage is being done by using this process to the Democrat Party. Now, I'm a Republican, but we're completely excluded from the process. The discussions down at the White House, the discussions on Capitol Hill, all being done Democrats among Democrats, cutting their deals. That's part of the problem in Washington. Americans want a bipartisan solution.
The Republicans got some, you know, some skeletons in the closet in past years too about doing the same thing.
And we paid the price for it.
Well, and you paid the price for it, but this isn't a sort of a gotcha. At some point, this has got to change for the American people.
The system has to change.
But are you hearing anything from the Democrats about how they're responding to the heat from people about, you know, they said they're going to put, they're feeling it? How do you know? What have you heard?
I think they're feeling it. I think the result.
Has anyone said anything to you like, you know, we can't stand to have another complaint about the C-SPAN or not?
You know, there's been a little of that. We'll know more once the House gets back into session on Tuesday night. I think that's when they're really going to come back and start to talk about it, those who will talk about it. But the problem is there shouldn't be phantom amendments. The committee process should be open. These bills should be made available. And the final negotiations, as the president repeatedly, time and again, said in 2008, would be put on C-SPAN. Or how about other networks? How about Fox?
I'm satisfied just to have C-SPAN. I mean, that'd be fine with me. Anyway. Congressman, thank you.
You bet, Greta.
Next, healthcare. And guess where you are going? You are going to Louisiana. Now, it's a healthcare bill. Louisiana